If you were to walk into a skate shop in 1998 and buy a complete, it might look almost exactly the same as something from today, just with different brand names. Skateboards really haven't had any major technological breakthroughs lately. While it isn't uncommon to see new and experimental trucks and exotic materials on longboards and cruisers, street skaters are too picky for these things to take off. Street skating uses every part of the board and trucks from every conceivable angle. So anything new has to react just like the current stuff. Nobody is willing to relearn or even abandon certain tricks to gain more durability or control. Think about the P2 decks, or almost impact decks. They have inserts, but everything else is still standard maple. If they didn't feel exactly like every other board, nobody would want to ride them. One company that isn't afraid of changing things is Live. Live just hit Indiegogo. Basically, they're using snowboard-style technology to layer carbon fiber and a hybrid polymer with maple. It looks very complicated, but the idea is that the polymer tip will prevent razor tail. And with the added strength of the carbon fiber, these decks might last a lot longer than a regular one. It looks like they'll retail for $200 each. I have a couple concerns about this. First, the shapes. If you buy a board that's going to last you a whole year, you better really like it. They're offering a few different shapes right now, but without being able to actually see one in person before buying it, it would be a bit of a gamble. Second, just how durable are they exactly? On Facebook, they claim that it lasts 6 times longer. So considering the price of 6 $50 decks, that definitely sounds worth it. But having full color graphics is a stretch goal. So in theory, a better comparison might be blank decks. Does it last 10 times longer than a $20 blank? Time will tell. I hope so, because it looks really cool. Another company fighting razor tail is One Skateboards. Right now they have decks with replaceable tips. They cut channels into the nose and tail that have tips on them that are removable and replaceable. And on top of that, these are actually cheaper than an average board. I've never ridden one, but they seem pretty cool. There's also a similar company in Sweden called ProSkate that's doing the exact same thing. One company that's always pushed the limits of deck manufacturing is Libtech. Their current boards have epoxy pickled maple, birch sidewalls, anti-razor birch end grain, a vertically laminated core, and fiberglass. Libtechs are about $75. But if that sounds too cheap for you, check out IXO Carbon. They're a carbon fiber company, not a skateboard company. They make a 100% carbon fiber deck, which they sell through their website. There are a couple of issues though. First, they don't say what size it is, and second, it's 1,100 euros, which is a little over $1,200. But for that price, they throw in titanium hardware, so that saves you a few bucks, right? Of course, any discussion about skateboard technology has to include Avenue. Recently, Avenue trucks were successfully funded on Kickstarter, and they have started selling their suspension trucks retail. The idea is that the truck sits on this heavy spring and absorbs landing impact and spring loads your pop. And theoretically, they also absorb rolling vibration, making your bearings roll smoother too. They look really cool, and I might buy some the next time I need new trucks. I've seen glowing reviews. It looks like these guys actually did the work of testing and refining the trucks for years before release. But what about wheels? No, I'm not talking about shark wheels. Those are the weird square wheels that roll smooth even though the treads wobble. I bet they're pretty cool on cruisers and longboards, but I can't see how they would work locking into grinds on a street board. So what else is going on? Well, air core wheels have come and mostly gone already, but right now there's Rec Wheels. This is Chet Thomas's new wheel company. Rather than being a whole new concept, Rec is just about perfecting the current wheel. They obsessively tested things like the rebound rate, flat spot resistance, and grip, and they're only a couple bucks more than regular wheels. Another new thing is Ricta Slicks. These have a slippery inner edge, which would help with crooked grinds, smiths, feebles, and that kind of stuff. They're kind of like tensor slip plates. And there are a few more random accessories on Indiegogo too. Namely the STAT, the Smart Truck Assembly Tool, meant to make it really easy to put your trucks on and tighten them. Personally, I don't mind spending a few minutes setting up my board, and I'd worry that there are more parts to break, potentially making it less reliable than a regular tool. But the target retail price is only $25, so it isn't much of an investment. Last is the hookey, which is a sock that goes over your shoe to protect it. They retail for about $30 to $35. I don't know about you, but I buy my skate shoes based on what's on clearance. It's not uncommon for me to spend $35 on the shoes themselves, let alone an accessory for them. Well, that's all the new stuff that I found. How about you? Do you know of any new skate tech that deserves any more attention? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.